Welcome back. This is a political talk show, and this morning we're going to talk. I'm putting my whole panel on the hot seat and asking them about hot button issues. I'm starting with Nyanza Moore.
Okay, my hot button issues, if they're twofold. We have an issue right now where there's two incidences where the Waffle House has experienced where they called the police and then the police came in and accosted the black patrons. We also have an issue with Airbnb where two African Americans were removing their luggage from their rental and a white neighbor of the property called the police on them. My issues are both with the people who call the police, but more so with the police. And I know Marcus and I differ just a little bit. I don't have a problem with the lady calling the police because she felt uncomfortable. She thought that the neighbors' houses were getting robbed. When I heard the taped conversation from what was actually released, she never once said, I see black people that are scaring me that are trying to rob a house. She said, I see people at my neighbor's house, that's not my neighbor, moving things out with their luggage, and then they are avoiding eye contact and they didn't even speak to me neighborly, which means that maybe they're trying to hide something. So I think that maybe they're robbing the house. The police officer who showed up would be the racist. If the white lady had a little bit of misgivings or bias because of race, I don't think that's racist. Now, Marcus and I may differ, but the police officer, racist as he may be, when the people told him, no, we're moving out of our Airbnb. Here is a copy of our lease agreement. Here is the photograph of the owner and the email where she said you are confirmed for your stay. The police officer's response was not, okay, let me go ahead and validate this or let me go ahead and verify. It was, anybody could have said that. Y'all don't have any business being here. That was racist. I've seen many instances where white people have been given a pass. I've seen white men run out there with water guns trying to spray the police. They never once pulled out their weapons. We have seen all this happen when it is an African American or even anybody that looks black that may not even be black. They are given a different hand with the police. And when that police officer had a black chief of police in this last incident with the Waffle House stand up and say that what that white sheriff did to that young black kid, body slamming him on the ground on the curb and then slamming him up against the glass wall at Waffle House, that was racist. And for the black captains of the police across the United States of America, who feel like they must go ahead and in lockstep and stay on this side of the blue and go ahead. I know I'm filibustering, but I'm very black in this moment because I have not been here for 3 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and talk. I have a problem with the racist cops. If you want to call the police on some people that you think are giving you civil unrest, call the police. But when the police come, it's their job to diffuse the situation, not heighten the ignorance and the racism. Okay, Marcus, you can go ahead and dispute me.
I'm going to go to Tony.
Sure, my hot button issue, good news, bad news from the Texas State Board of Education. So good news, they voted recently to support Mexican Studies curriculum. The bad news is they evidently think the word Mexican American is a bad word because they changed the name of it. So they changed the name from Mexican American Studies to, it's a long, terrible name, Ethnic Studies, Americans of Mexican descent. That's kind of like taking Tex-Mex food, right? It's like taking Tex-Mex food and calling it American food with ingredients from Texas and Mexico. It's offensive, it makes no sense, and that's my food for thought for this morning.
Okay, Bill King.
I have a blog post coming out tomorrow. I've gone back and looked at Metro's ridership from 2001 to today. 2001, the last time that we did not spend any money on light rail. From then until today, after we spent $2.2 billion on light rail, ridership is down 15%.
Wow. That's right. Bob Price, what's going on?
Well, it's no secret that I cover the border quite extensively. And
Border Bob.
There's a very concerning issue going on in your hometown of Laredo, Texas right now, where we're having large numbers of people migrating here through the drug cartels, by the way, from countries that are state sponsors of terrorism, Bangladesh and Syria. 230 Bangladeshi nationals this fiscal year have been apprehended crossing the border. They're spending anywhere upwards of $27,000 to get smuggled in here. This week there were 2 Syrians added to that. And talking to the Border Patrol agents down there, Hector Garza, who's the president of the Border Patrol Council down there, told me that we don't know what these people's intent is. You know, they're spending a lot of money to get here. But the fact is that even if these are people of the best of intentions, that they can spend that kind of money, get smuggled through South America, up through Central America, through Mexico, and into Laredo, Texas, means that anyone else that has bad intentions can do exactly the same thing.
I retweeted your article in about 30 seconds. Who wants it?
Oh, wow.
Well, I think I'll take 15. Texas is going to have an impact on this Iran deal because our oil production is so strong right now. The fact that we are less dependent, becoming less dependent on foreign oil is going to have an impact on this.
Go ahead, I'll carve out some more. Go ahead.
I have a me also moment. This rash of what's happening in our nation with police being called for everyday situations with African Americans, from the gentlemen that were barbecuing at the lake to the young lady who was a PhD student at Yale. I was a victim of this issue as well. Police being called on me, me being handcuffed and detained by police officers in a piece of property that I invested in East Downtown. Neighbor thought I was dangerous because I didn't look like I was the owner.
It's crazy. We'll talk some more. Love having all you guys. When we come back, Houston's mayor delivers a no-frills spending plan without layoffs. Could it be the last one before a vote on additional taxes? So stay with us.